2 words. Cold. Empty. Yet every ounce of her soul bled through them. She meant every single syllable, every sharp edge slicing deeper than anyone could see. The weight of those words hung in the air like a storm ready to break, silent, yet devastating.
I was being selfish, you know what I mean? And I can say that as a man, I'm a grown man.
AM man admitting he had thrown away the single greatest thing he would ever have. But confession alone wasn't enough. Because when Stefon Diggs appeared after the Super Bowl, trying desperately to reclaim Cardi B, Offset was already there, shadowing every step. And what unfolded next shattered more than just reputations. It left a tooth on the floor and egos in ashes. The man who spoke those words didn't just let them linger, he made sure Diggs felt every syllable with his own hands. Meanwhile, Cardi B watched it all spiral in real time on her phone, firing up Instagram Live like a queen lighting a match to a powder keg. But here's the piece nobody is fully seeing yet. Before we dive into the fight, before we dissect Cardi going live, before the clips ignite the internet, you need the full backstory. Because if you enter this moment halfway, you will miss the truth. This confrontation wasn't a question of if, it was always a matter of when. Offset and Cardi B were never just a couple. They were a full-blown chapter etched into hip-hop history. They secretly tied the knot in 2017. No ceremony, no fanfare, no cameras, just the two of them in their Atlanta bedroom, sealing it behind closed doors. 2 kids, endless cultural waves, a carousel of breakups and reunions, therapy sessions, public apologies, concert stage stunts that read like headline-grabbing scripts. Their relationship had more seasons than a prestige Netflix drama and twice the emotional devastation. By July 2024, Cardi had had enough. She filed for divorce for the second time. This time, Offset had no grand gestures waiting, no rolling loud theatrics, no take me back signs. Just silence, and then came the bombshell. Cardi revealed she was pregnant with their 3rd child, Blossom, arriving that September. 3 kids into a marriage dissolving in real time, the stakes skyrocketing. And just when the dust should have settled, Cardi boldly moved forward, publicly, with a professional athlete on her arm. A statement, I am thriving. Offset? He masked his rage, holding composure for a fleeting moment, but inside, the storm was brewing. The saga escalated fast. Cardi and Stefon Diggs went from whispered sightings at Knicks games in November 2024 to a Valentine's Day in Miami that screamed headline gold. From Coachella appearances together to full-blown video evidence of Cardi giving Diggs a lap dance at a New York club after a concert, the internet captured every frame. And yes, Offset saw it all. Unseasoned, unprepared. He called an NFL Pro Bowl wide receiver unseasoned on one of the biggest hip-hop podcasts alive. The line spread like wildfire, igniting blogs, fan pages, and group chats from New York to Los Angeles. Diggs knew. The internet made sure of it. Then came Halloween 2025. Offset dropped a surprise album, Haunted by Fame, and the track No Sweat transformed the project into a live episode of the Cardi Offset Diggs saga. Jordan for Rodman himself as the franchise, Diggs in supporting role, and a single bar exposed a bombshell. Cardi was carrying Diggs's child while her divorce from Offset hadn't even been finalized in court. That wasn't just rap energy, that was cinematic chaos erupting into reality. This was personal warfare, disguised as a verse, weaponized, and broadcast across every streaming platform for eternity. By June 2025, Cardi B and Stefon Diggs had made their relationship unavoidably official on Instagram, while Offset sat in the same divorce courts, filing for spousal support, tossing shade on X, deleting, reposting. Unraveling piece by piece in a slow motion collapse the entire world could witness. Every post, every screenshot, every ripple screamed, a man fraying at the edges, and there was no undo button. Then came February 2026. Super Bowl 60. New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. Stefon Diggs in a Patriots jersey, the tension already palpable in the stadium air, and what was about to unfold would become the most unhinged weekend this triangle had ever produced. The Patriots fell 29-13. Not even close. Diggs had a rough game, but the scoreboard was irrelevant. For those watching this story, the drama on the field was secondary to the chaos off it. His baby mama, Kiki, snapped posts from the stands with their son. Another woman, Pri, was seen inside with Patriots access, and multiple outlets quickly connected her to Offset, a former side piece resurfacing in real time. Then whispers turned into headlines. Diggs allegedly had someone in his hotel room mere hours after the final whistle. The woman who first reported it hinted it before kickoff, and suddenly everyone realized she had seen the storm brewing before the game even began. By morning, Cardi and Diggs had unfollowed each other on Instagram. Entertainment Tonight confirmed the split. Cardi posted one word, done. No subtext, no interview, no Instagram story, just that single word and then silence. For most, silence closes a chapter. You take the loss, process it privately, and move forward with dignity intact. But in the days following that Super Bowl, the story rewrote itself entirely. Diggs could not let it go. Back-to-back calls, dozens of messages routed through mutual contacts, desperate attempts to get Cardi to simply hear him out. Everyone blocked, every effort crushed. Cardi's camp made it clear there was nothing to discuss, and that's when the rage seeped out. Allegedly, he labeled her dramatic, claiming she overreacted, branding her controlling, demanding, opportunistic. He painted a narrative that ignored the woman who had sat courtside in freezing cold to defend him, who had stood by him when strangulation charges surfaced, who gave him a child, poured into him, and invested her life in his. He even showed up at one of her tour stops, trying to get backstage. Security refused him access entirely. Nothing. A man unraveling in full public view, spiral mode activated. Meanwhile, word began spreading of Diggs's intentions and his mounting desperation. Music drops to near silence. Tension coils. And here is the turn that set everyone's timelines ablaze. In the days after the Super Bowl, Stefon Diggs made a move no one anticipated. Burdened by the magnitude of what he had lost, Cardi, the public narrative, his own credibility, he sought an in-person apology. No texts. No intermediaries. Face-to-face. The problem? He didn't find Cardi first. He found Offset. Now, imagine that moment. The collision course of two men, one a master of composure, the other a man unraveling, standing inches from each other with every ounce of tension pulsing through the room. The kind of moment that would make even the most seasoned bystander flinch. Perspective. This is the man who once publicly crowned himself Jordan, casting Stefon Diggs in the Rodman role. The man who recorded an entire album while Cardi B was visibly pregnant with Diggs's child, every lyric dripping with ego and defiance. The man who watched, day after day, his still legally married wife build a full-blown, unapologetic public relationship with a wide receiver, while he sat alone in divorce court filing for spousal support, his pride fraying with every passing headline. The man who had been grinding his back teeth for over a year, witnessing the story unfold in real time on social media, on blogs, across every platform imaginable, and now, in a moment both inevitable and surreal. Diggs was standing right in front of him. Offset did not extend a handshake. Nothing. The air itself seemed to crackle as two forces, equally volatile, locked into a confrontation that would immediately erupt across the internet. What happened next is captured in footage that began spreading like wildfire across every social feed, every gossip site, every corner of the web within minutes. Physical. Aggressive. Raw. And according to sources close to the aftermath, Stefon Diggs walked away from that face-to-face encounter with a broken tooth. Read that again. The NFL Pro Bowl wide receiver, fresh off the Super Bowl, months spent publicly entwined with Cardi B, left a post-game confrontation missing a piece of his smile. The footage moved exactly the way only the most unhinged celebrity content does in 2026. Unstoppable. Everywhere. Your timeline, your For You page, your group chat, your coworkers' lunch break conversation, everywhere you turned, it was impossible to escape. Every blog had a post up within the hour. Every podcast cued a reaction before the sunset. And through all, the response to the footage, to Offset's involvement, to her very name being dragged into a full-blown physical clash between her estranged husband and her former lover, was nothing anyone anticipated. She could have stayed silent. That had been her entire strategy since the Super Bowl breakup. Post done, go on tour, say nothing, let her actions speak louder than any statement ever could. And it had been working perfectly. The internet, the culture, even casual observers, they were entirely on her side. But then the fight footage hit her mentions. Millions of views in hours. Every caption tagging her, every clip replayed and dissected. That's when Cardi B went live on Instagram, and she was not calm. She did not step on screen to take sides. She did not defend Offset. She did not call out Diggs by name. But the exhaustion behind her eyes was palpable. The frustration, the emotional weight, the clarity of a woman who had been forced into the center of chaos that was not hers, visible to everyone. She made one thing perfectly clear. This was not her war. She had not asked for it. She had not caused it. She refused to sit quietly and absorb the consequences of two grown men unable to process their feelings like adults. She said she was done being the epicenter of other people's unresolved issues. She had made her decisions. She had moved forward with her life. Whatever happened in those streets, in those moments of violence and anger, was not her responsibility. She told everyone watching that she left, that she had made her peace. And what Offset and Diggs chose to do with their rage, their pride, their insecurities after she walked away, that was entirely their own business, no longer hers. She never named names. She didn't have to. The internet already knew who she meant. Every glance, every emphasis, every subtle nod told the story louder than words. And just like that, the narrative shifted again. Cardi B had reclaimed her power, her dignity, her narrative, while two men remained entangled in their own public implosion. So, what do you say about this? Comment below. Do you think she handled it the only way she could, or is there more storm yet to come?